You know, behind every new drug or medical device that comes to market, there is an absolute mountain of documentation. But here's the thing. This isn't just paperwork. It's a really high-stakes world where just checking the boxes and following the rules, well, it's not always enough. So today, we're going to dive into that critical intersection where compliance meets conscience.
This question, right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the matter, doesn't it? It completely reframes the job, taking it from what looks like a bureaucratic hurdle and turning it into a profound human responsibility. And that's really the core question we're going to tackle.
So, here's what we've got lined up. We're going to start with that core tension between doing what's required and doing what's right. Then, we'll look at why just following the rules can sometimes fail us. From there, we'll build out an ethical compass to help navigate those tricky gray zones. And finally, we'll see how it all comes back to the most important thing of all, trust.
All right, let's jump in with that central conflict, compliance versus conscience. And look, this isn't just some abstract theoretical idea, it is the daily reality for anyone working in this field.
First things first, let's get a quick baseline. Regulatory writing is this highly specialized skill of creating these massive, detailed dossiers of information that agencies like the FDA need to even consider approving a new therapy. It's incredibly precise, it's structured, and it is absolutely essential.
And this right here lays out the two worlds a regulatory writer is constantly balancing. On one side, you've got compliance. That's the world of checklists, templates, and hard deadlines, all driven by the need for approval. But on the other side, you have conscience, and that's about the real-world impact, about transparency, and ultimately about patient safety and responsibility. These two worlds aren't always at odds, but that tension between them, well, that's where ethics lives.
Okay, so if the job is about more than just checking boxes, we've got to look beyond the checklist to really get at the writer's true role in all of this.
Now, in paper, the duties seem pretty straightforward, right? You're making sure you comply with these complex guidelines, you're presenting huge amounts of clinical data with total accuracy, you're keeping it all clear and logical so people can actually understand it, and you're documenting everything so it can survive intense scrutiny. This is the technical bedrock of the job.
But here's the crucial point. Following the regulations gives you the structure, the what and the how of the document. But it's ethics that provides the direction. It gives you the why. It answers the question, in what spirit are we actually presenting all this information? Without that direction, you could have a perfectly structured, compliant document that completely misses the point.
And this leads to a pretty sobering realization, one that honestly history has taught us the hard way. Sometimes just following the rules to the letter simply isn't enough to do the right thing. Just think about that for a second. You can check every single box, follow every guideline, and submit a document that is technically flawless. But we've seen examples throughout history where products, later found to be harmful, got approved based on submissions that, yeah, they were compliant, but they cleverly downplayed risks or cherry-picked the best data. It tells the truth, just not the whole truth.
And this is how it happens. This is the chain reaction of an ethical failure. It usually starts with small choices, right? Like emphasizing the positive data a little more than the negative. That leads to a submission that, while technically okay, is fundamentally misleading. The result? Real-world, profound human consequences. And the final outcome is the erosion of public trust in the whole system.
So, if the rulebook isn't the only guide we can use, what else is there? Well, we need a different kind of tool. We need an ethical compass to give us direction when the map just gets too confusing.
And the framework for this compass is built on 4 core ethical pillars. They're actually pretty straightforward in principle, but they are incredibly powerful when you put them into practice.
Let's just quickly walk through them. First up, transparency. This means you report everything, especially the bad stuff, the adverse events. You don't hide it. Second, accuracy. No spin. You represent the data exactly as it is. Third is accountability. The writer, the team, the whole organization, you own the integrity of what you're submitting. And finally, the one that sits above them all, public safety. Every single decision has to ultimately protect the patient, period.
This right here is the ultimate gut check. It's the one question that just cuts through all the noise and complexity. If you can honestly, hand on heart, answer yes to this question, you are on the right track. It takes that big abstract idea of public safety and makes it intensely personal. Okay, so having a compass is one thing, but using it in the middle of a storm, that's a whole other challenge. So let's talk about actually navigating those gray zones that pop up in the real world. Because the pressure is absolutely real.
You've got ridiculously tight timelines. You've got huge commercial expectations from the business to present the product in the best possible light. And you're dealing with these massively complex data sets. It's these pressures that create the gray zones where all the ethical dilemmas are born.
So how do you actually navigate all this? Well, the strategies are pretty practical. It starts by building ethical checkpoints right into the drafting process itself. It means getting different teams, medical, stats, regulatory, to actually talk to each other. And it means constant learning, all of it supported by a company culture that genuinely values integrity over a quick win.
And a quick note on technology, because it's a big deal right now. AI and automation, they're changing the game for sure. They can make creating documents faster and more consistent. But, and this is a big but, these tools are assistants. They are not replacements for human judgment. They can't weigh ethical nuances. That critical final check, it's still got to be human.
So when you bring it all together, all of this work, the compliance, the ethics, the tough choices, it's all about building one thing. It's about building a bridge to trust. And let's look at why that matters so much.
I just love this quote. It elevates the whole profession. It's not just some support function pushing paper. A regulatory writer is a translator. They take this incredibly complex, raw science and build a bridge of understanding so that society, through its regulators, can make informed, safe decisions. And the quality of that bridge? Wow, it has a massive ripple effect. These documents directly influence whether a drug even gets approved. They determine what the warning label says. They guide how risks are managed. Done ethically, this work builds trust. Done poorly, it shatters it. But at the very end of that chain, every single time, is the impact on real patient outcomes.
This just puts it perfectly. Compliance gets you in the door, it secures the possibility of an approval. But it's the ethics that ensures you actually deserve to be there by taking responsibility for the human lives that are on the other side of that decision. You absolutely have to have both.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It's a challenge to anyone in this field, and honestly, a reminder for all of us. When it really comes down to it, every single data point represents a person, a patient. So the real question isn't just about getting the document done. It's about who you were really writing it for, the file cabinet or the human being who is counting on you to get it right.